Good morning, everyone. You're welcome to another edition of the Vetiva Breakfast Meeting, brought to you by Vetiva Capital Management in partnership with Frontier Africa Reports. For today, we'll be getting the usual rundown of the fixed income and equities markets from our traders. We also have joining us our partners at CGF Boss, and they'll be giving us updates on the BRVM. Then we'll conclude with headlines from across Africa by our media partners at Frontier Africa Reports. Before we go on, we'd like to remind everyone that the meeting is being recorded and it may be shared with third parties. We are also streaming live on our Vetiva online Facebook page if you prefer to view or join from that platform. The session is also set to last for 30 minutes, inclusive of Q&A. And during the course of the session, if you have any questions for our speakers, you can send them in using the chat function available on Zoom. And if you're joining us from Facebook, you can make use of the comment section. We'll now be starting off with Simbiat from our Global Equities Desk, and she'll be taking us through some markets from across West Africa. Good morning, Simbiat.
Good morning, Victoria, and good morning to everyone. So I'll be reviewing the Ghana market and also the Nigerian equities markets. And starting with Ghana, we saw the market maintaining its positive momentum as Composite Index gained 34 basis points to close yesterday's session. The market had more equities participate in trading, a total of 15 companies traded, which was much more in comparison with what we had last week. This led to a 59% improvement in volume. However, turnover declined by 33% because the trades were majorly in the small cap names. Leading the gainers chart was ETI with a 60.7% price appreciation just in one day. Although we've been seeing significant trades in ETI over the last couple of sessions, however, it's been trading flat at 6 pesos since July 1st until yesterday. Other gainers in the session were Fan Milk, Enterprise Group, and EcoBank Ghana. Going into today, we expect mixed activity level as investors continue to play around familiar names like Cowbank, MTN, ETI, and Fan Milk. In the Nigerian equities markets, the all-share index started the week 40 basis points down. This was largely on back of the 2.64% price appreciation in Danksem. This led to the industrial goods sector shedding 1.43% to start the week. Other stocks investors took profit on include Champion Berries. The stock topped the losers chart with a 7.73% decline following the 4.76 price appreciation recorded in prior session. We also had Etana recording a 7.2% reversal of capital gain after I had 2 sessions of uptrend. Speaking to activity levels, market traded on a mixed note with volume improving by about 29%, while turnover fell by 17%. This was due to small to mid-cap names like Transcorp, Honeyflower, Consolidated Hallmark Insurance dominating activity charts. Going into today, we expect similar trading pattern to persist as investors continue to cherry pick attractive names across sectors while taking profits in others. Thank you, and that'll be all from my end.
Thank you very much, Simbiat. Just a quick one. We have continued to see Honeyflower gain in trading sessions. Has the news around the possible acquisition been confirmed, or people are still trading on speculations?
Yeah, so people are still trading on speculations. We are yet to see any confirmation from Honeywell or Flour Mills regarding the purchase acquisition has been speculating the markets.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up is Sheikh, and he'll be taking us through the BRVM. Good morning, Sheikh. Okay, let's move on to Omorige. Good morning, Omorige.
Good morning, Victoria. Good morning, everybody. There was no official liquidity figures for yesterday. So following the lack of any significant funding need in the markets, interbank rate moderated by an average of 158 basis points, as OBB and overnight rate closed at 6.5% and 7.17% respectively. For today, we expect money market rate to trade at lower levels on the back of OMO repayment of about 60 billion that's coming into the system. The parallel market lost about 3 naira yesterday to trade at 527 naira to a dollar, while the annual window opened at 411.93 naira to a dollar. The highest rate that was recorded yesterday was 415.20 naira to a dollar, while the closing rate was 411.63 naira to a dollar. Brent and WTI gained 0.74% and 0.55% to open today at 73.23 and $69.08 per barrel respectively. The T-bills market opened this week to a relatively active session with bullish sentiment seen across the mid to long end of the benchmark curve. The most sought after maturities yesterday were the 16th June 2022, the 25th August 2022, and the newly issued CBN Special NTB, that is the 29th November 2021 maturity, while trades were majorly consummated on the long-dated maturities, especially on the 30th June 2022, 11th August 2022, and the 25th August 2022 papers. Overall, average benchmark rate declined by about 21 basis points to close at 4.6%. The OMO segment traded on a calm note with few interest seen on the 18th January 2022, 8th March 2022, and the 7th January 2022 maturities. Trades were majorly consummated on the 30th November, 22 February, and the 16th August maturities, as average benchmark rate remained unchanged at 5.92%. The bonds market opened the week on a relatively quiet note with bullish sentiment seen across the benchmark curve as market participants took part in month-end trading activities. We observed interest across board, especially on the 2027, 2036, and the 2045 maturities, while trades were majorly consummated on the 2034, 2035, and the 2037 maturities. Overall, average benchmark rate declined by about 2 basis points to close at 11.73%. For our expectations today, we expect the bonds market to close this month on a relatively quiet note as market participants close out their books for the month, while we expect the T-bills market to close this month on a relatively active note as market participants try to reverse inflows from OMO maturities that are coming into the system today. That's about 60 billion. That'll be all for fixed income. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Omorige. We'll now round off with Boastin from Frontier Africa Reports, and he'll be giving us some headlines from across Africa. Good morning, Boastin. Apologies, Justina will be taking us through the headlines. Good morning, Justina.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So we start here from the East African region, where Kenya media firm Standard Group posted a net loss of 61.2 million Kenyan shillings in the first half of 2021, compared to a net loss of 306 million Kenyan shillings in the same period of 2020. Now, the company says it expects to return to profit in the second half of the year. Bulk Gases Kenya Limited more than doubled its half-year earnings by 165.8 million percent to 38.8 million Kenyan shillings from 14.6 million Kenyan shillings in the first half of 2020. It also declared an interim dividend of 1.50 Kenyan shilling per share to be paid to shareholders on the 18th of October. Now, MTN says it's in its final stages of fulfilling the government's requirements to list on the Uganda Securities Exchange. The government Uganda has asked MTN to sell at least 20% of the company's shares to the public before it lists on the Securities Exchange of Uganda. And in the Southern African region, we have Royal Bafokeng and Black Panthers Consortium, who are buying 10% stake owned by the Saltman family in Discam. The shares, which were bought at 17.5% discount, cannot be sold for the next 3 years. And this is a Black company, this is a consortium of Black company buying a stake in Discam. Yesterday, the share prices of Naspers and Prosus took a hit after a new Chinese gaming rule, which limits teenagers' gaming playing time to 3 hours for every other week. This, however, spooked investors who became cautious to buy stocks due to the escalating restrictions for these shares. Now, in Zimbabwe, the Infrastructure Development Bank of Zimbabwe is targeting to raise $1.65 billion in the second half of the year through a rights issue, as it seeks to boost its lending capacity towards capital projects. And in Botswana, Botswana has raised its growth forecast to 9.7% from 8.8% in 2021. Just in February, the Southern African country, excuse me, please.
Okay, seems like we have.
I'm sorry, I had a cough. Sorry, in Botswana, Botswana has raised its forecast to 9.7% from 8.8% in 2021. Oh goodness, I'm sorry, please, can we move to someone else?
All right, thank you very much, Justina.
Yeah.
We have now come to the Q&A segment. If you have any questions, you can make use of the chat function available on Zoom. And if you're joining us from Facebook, you can make use of the comment section. And if you'd prefer to speak, you can use the raise hand function and you'll be called upon to speak. Looks like we already have a question Q&A box. It says the Fidelity Bank submitted its audited financial statements to CBN according to a news release from it. Is it planning an interim dividends payment? Okay, I'll direct this question to our banking analyst, Joshua Odebisi.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for your question. Although we do not yet cover Fidelity Bank, the indication that they've given the results, the half-year results to the CBN could be that they do intend to give out interim dividends, but we cannot say categorically that that is the reason for that action. However, historically, whenever banks have submitted their half-year results, it is because they do intend to give out interim dividends to shareholders. But we cannot categorically state that that is the reason why Fidelity have done so. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joshua. We can still take in more questions. Okay, looks like we do not have any more questions for today. Although if you have any questions along the course of the day, you can send them to us at researchgroup@vetiva.com and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. We have now come to the end of today's session. on behalf of Vetiva Capital Management and our media partners at Frontier Africa Reports, we thank you for joining us today, and we hope that you have a great day ahead. Thank you and good morning.